Man devised for himself many gods, many ways, thinking that they could lead him back to God. But they could not answer the inner quest of man. Because man is made after the image and likeness of God, imago Dei. Man needs to be connected with his maker. Like the psalmist said, my soul is thirsting for God, the God of my life. When can I enter and see the face of God? Because the soul of man is yearning for the face of God. How can man redeem himself? In order that God was in Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, the proto-evangelium, be fulfilled, God decided to form a nation that will become like a prototype. That is, God has going to form a nation through which he will relate to the rest of the mankind through them. And so he called a man called Abraham. That was the second reading. He called Abraham, made him his friend, to establish a new relationship with mankind. And so, having established Abraham, he made a promise that he was going to multiply his generation that could not be numbered. And this generation is no longer going to be constrained to the people of Israel alone, but to be multiplied to the whole nation. And so, he had in mind the redemption of mankind, the salvation of mankind. But it cannot just come like a big bang, boom. No, he needed a gradual and a progressive approach towards this. And so, having called Abraham, he promised a generation. Then, the people he wanted to form went to Egypt. And in order to bring them, which we experience tonight, the waters of rebirth, the waters of baptism, God let his people pass through the Red Sea, which was a type, or as we call it in theology, typology, of what we are experiencing tonight, the great Passover. He let the people pass over the sea. He passed over the people and he let them cross the Red Sea, which was also their own baptism. Through their own experience, time and again, God sent invitation when man went far from him through prophets and patriarchs, reminding the people of his promise and how he was going to fulfill them, that they should come back to him. And so you listen to the different version of God's invitation and re-invitation to the people through the prophet, which culminated in the prophetic utterances of Ezekiel tonight. Even at a point, he offers free of charge. He said, those who are thirsty, come and take free of charge. You have nothing to lose. You will not pay. I have already paid. He talked about the redemption. Christ will run through his blood. And in the last reading of the Old Testament, before that, from the book of Baruch, God questioned Israel through prophet. Why are you in the foreign land? Growing old in the land of your enemy. It's because you have abandoned the way of wisdom. You have abandoned the way of God. And you have chosen for yourself this way of life that will not lead to anything. Why can't you change and come back? Then in the book of Ezekiel, he assured them of bringing them back. But he reminded them of why these things are happening to them. Because they have sinned. And so, he has opened the vista of hope to them that even though you have done this, I am going to redeem you not because of your righteousness. I'm going to redeem you not because of the relationship I had with your father, but I'm going to redeem you because of the name I bear, because of my own holy name, because I have made a promise that this is what I will do. And so, as we listen in the letter of St. Paul to the Galatians, at the proper time, God sent his own son to be born of a woman. So, he did that not because of your righteousness. God redeems us not because of our righteousness, not because of our own holiness, not because you are perfect, not because I am perfect or eloquent, but because of the name he bears and the promises he has made that he was going to redeem mankind. And because of the love he has for mankind, he allowed his son to come and die. And in fulfillment of that, he raised Jesus from the dead. So Jesus became the fulfillment of the past history, the beginning of the future, and the hope of tomorrow. And so, as I said at the beginning, he is the fulfillment of the past the realities of God's love, the hope of the present, and the future. All the future generation will look back to what Jesus has done for humanity. And the past, the patriarchs, long for his days. And so Jesus becomes the center of history. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. When we say this is what God has done for us, coming to the gospel reading we have read this evening, from Matthew's Gospel chapter 28, 1 to 10. The angel said to the people, do not be afraid. He has risen, as he said. When Christ was crucified on Good Friday, to many, all hope seems to be lost. As we shall hear in the subsequent of the Easter tide, from the Gospel of Luke chapter 24, the experience of the Emmaus, people from the Emmaus, many people were disappointed as it is in the world today. Some people are posting on the Facebook, on the internet, on Instagram, that God has failed the world. That where is Jesus that we are worshiping? Jesus is inefficient. That the coronavirus is powerful than Jesus. And so on and so forth. People say all kinds of things. But in it, you can see the power of God manifesting. When Jesus was crucified, the whole world thought that it was finished. They thought that it was the end. The Pharisees thought that it was the end. The Jewish people thought that they have made an end of Jesus. Unknown to them that they were creating a new history that they could not contain. Through this, perhaps there are going to be a renewal of faith in the world, whereby people who had no value of God before will now know that without God, the world is nothing. There will be a reawakening of consciousness about the reality and the presence of God in our lives. And again, the world is going to know that, yes, we cannot say no to God. Even the scientists who have been proposing that they can do without God, they have seen their nothingness and emptiness. As Donald Trump will say, the scientists have failed the world. Where are they now? People are dying. And what are they using to cure us? Or those who have the problem is a minute things of life. Little things. Hot water. Hot water. Bitter cola. As in Nigeria experience. Sun and the rest. These were provided by God. And so you can see that even when we would think that the presence of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 in the world is a show of the deficiency or impotent nature of our God, that is not true. Our God is potent, is omnipotent. He has all the power. Just as the Bible said this week, don't be afraid. He has risen, as he said. When they crucified Jesus, they thought it was the end. But lo and behold, the stone was rolled away. And Jesus appeared. He said, tell my brethren, let us meet in Galilee. They will see me there. So what we need to conclude this reflection with, time for the whole world to meet the Lord in Galilee. Time has come for you and I, my brothers and sisters, to meet the Lord in the Galilee. Where is the Galilee of your life? Where is the Galilee of my life? We are to meet the Lord there. There we'll see his manifestation. The world needs God more than ever. The world needs to go back to God to experience the power of the resurrection. He wants the disciples to be separated from the people, to meet him in Galilee, so that they will experience too the power of the resurrection. And so the world needs to go to God, go to meet Jesus in Galilee. The Galilee of your life, the Galilee of my life. Let us go back to him. Those of us who have abandoned him, thinking that material things could answer the realities of life. We have discovered that nothing can be answered adequately without God. Where is our money? If you go to the Italy now, or as they are showing it on the Facebook, people are throwing away monies, currencies. They are throwing away because it has failed them. Money is there, material things are there, people are dying away. Estates, they are abandoning them, dying in pain. That is to show us that all these things have no value without God. The world has no meaning without God. Look at the football, look at the games. Olympics have been shifted to next year. Many stadiums have now been converted to hospitals. Many stadiums have that the people who have been watching football, they have no time for God. Watching from here to here, fans. Where are the fans? I belong to this, I belong to that, I belong to this, I belong to that. People fighting themselves. In fact, the main fan now, the only thing that has fun in the world now is the coronavirus. No be so? All of us belong to the coronavirus fan. Because all the TV in the world are talking about COVID-19. If they talk news, 10 in a day, at least 8 will be COVID-19. How the government are chopping our money, how they are stealing our money, they will bring 5 million to our part, they will sit upon it, and they will be pushing everybody inside. People are dying of hunger. They are looking up here. Money don't come. But those who are sitting there, God will push them one by one. Amen. Amen. I'm not saying God will kill anybody. I say he will push them. What is a meme? I don't know. Glory to Jesus. Why others are crying because of the effects of the coronavirus, others are jubilating because money are coming. And they're using snapping rubbish to send to government so that they know that they are working. Where is the money? People are dying of hunger. And so now, you can see what is happening in the world. You can see that without Christ, world has no value. All those people that has money before, where is the money to save them? The stadium that people have no time for God, they always fill the stadium from here to here. They say, Man U, Liverpool, Ogah, Chester, Ogah, all these Chester and Chestin, Chester and Chestin disappear. See all of us. What is the reigning football team now? Kolo? COVID-19 is the reigning team. Every other thing collapsed. Every other club collapsed. Because God is teaching the world a new lesson. This is just a single play. What if God allow? I'm not saying that he has sent it to us. I'm not saying that. But in theology, there are two terms they use. Will and permit. God may not will it, but may permit it. As in the case of Job. God did not will it, but he permitted it. And so, what give God permitted 2 plagues to befall on mankind. This is just one. And the second one follow. How are we going to do? And this is to teach us a lesson. That we must go back to God. We must meet God, Jesus in Galilee. There he will find solution to the problem of mankind. There he will provide solution for our predicament. Unless we meet him in Galilee, unless the whole world realizes his presence, unless the whole world realizes his vitality, his importance among us, unless the whole world realizes our mistake and go back to him, then we now experience the power of the resurrection and be cured. And the solution be provided. If not, the world will keep on crying. Another painful thing is that today they say church should not gather, people should not gather at the place of worship because of in order to curtail the spreading of the coronavirus. Then I ask, those who are moving on the street, going to the market to buy things from themselves, even the police and the law enforcement agents, or those task force that are going about, are they maintaining the social distance? Are they sanitizing their hands as regular as they should? What about the hand they are using to touch those masks? As they are touching it, have they sanitized their hand before? Are they not prone to it? They are even the police on the way, stopping people. Where are you going? They have no sanitizer or face mask. Who is fooling who? The attention now is at the worshiping place of God, while the places where they're supposed to maintain the sanity is ignored. And so we must go back to God. The world must meet Jesus in Galilee. He said, tell the brethren to meet me in Galilee. We must go back to God. He's the only answer to our problem. He's the only answer to our predicament. If we fail to meet him in Galilee, stay in UK, you cannot see him. Stay in Agamudu, my village, you may not see him. We must go to Jesus in Galilee. And that is what he wants us to do.